You're live.
Beginning is a very delicate time. Know then that it is the
Year 10,191.
The known universe is ruled by the Padishah Emperor Shaddam IV, my father. In this time, the most precious substance in the universe is the spice melange. The spice extends life. The spice expands consciousness. The spice is vital to space travel. The Spacing Guild and its navigators, who the spice has mutated over 4,000 years, use the orange spice gas, which gives them the
Hello, can you hear me?
space. That is,
How's my audio?
to any part of the universe.
I see a couple people in the chat.
Oh yes.
Hal, Russell,
I
Oyen.
forgot to tell you. The spice exists on only
Yes.
one planet in
Good.
the entire universe. A desolate, dry planet.
The spice must
deserts.
flow.
Hidden away within the rocks of these deserts are a people known as the Fremen.
Let a few people join in the chat before I get started.
You lead them to true freedom. The planet is Arrakis.
All right.
Also,
Hey, Russ, congrats on the win at Bomber. Was it yesterday? Good work. I think it was a P-47. And hey, Hal, haven't seen you in quite a while. EVH store. How have you been today? I have been fine. I've done some flying, done some eating. Now I'm going to do some building. Yes, the spice must flow. 1, 2, 3 blocks. Yeah, I've collected a few. I got some lightweight ones and some heavy ones. These were, a couple of them were in my Marine Saulnier as nose weight, but I swapped them out for some stuff. P-47 Little Bunny. It's good to hear. Yeah, P-47s are great flying models. I don't think I've ever seen a P-47 model that didn't fly good, no matter what the size. Looks like a few people have joined in. You're from Key West Naval Air. Key West, wow. I've been to Key West some years ago. It was a nice trip down. We drove down from Texas, technically, but roundabout way through Florida. Very nice place. Looked like a fun place to seaplane or a boat. All right, let me pull up. It's going to be hard for me to look. The monitor is behind me as I'm looking at the billboard, so I'm going to see if I can turn that music off, pull up YouTube. Maybe I can watch my own stream. Will that work? Can I stream and stream and stream? Hey, look at that. It's got an announcement that I'm live. And a commercial. We'll turn the audio off. Oh, so I should turn off the Bluetooth speaker. Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining in. This has been sort of a last second thing. I was out in the workshop working on a new plane. Yeah, look at that. Hopefully this will stay up. And I figured, hey, wait a minute. I'm at the workshop, kind of not doing much. Maybe I can do an impromptu live chat while I'm working on this. It's been a while since I've done a live show. Thought it might be fun. So there we go. I've got the phone. I can see the messages. Hopefully they'll stay live. Got a few people in watching. I've been kind of contemplating doing a live show past couple of days, but I don't know, couldn't quite commit to a time or anything. But I figured, well, I'm going to be in a workshop for a little while today before dinner or something. I wasn't really all that hungry, so I said, well, I'm going to go in a shop and start working on some stuff. And so I thought maybe I can catch up with some people as I am building and whatever else comes to mind. I don't know. Usually these things are ad hoc, and I sort of, I don't know, just make stuff up as I go along. What you building? Uh-oh, how come the live chat is not live chatting? Oh, maybe because I had to hit the play button. There we go. Okay, there we go. Ha! I watched myself on delay. Maybe I can come out and come back in. It won't be as a bad a delay. There we go. All right. So I guess I'll get started talking to everybody here. I guess there's a few people in the chat. If you're just joining, I decided at the last second to do a live show as I'm working on a build. Weather has gotten a little better here in South Texas. It's no longer 800 degrees in the shade. It's only 700 degrees in the shade. But that means my little wimpy air conditioner here has a slightly easier time, even though the fan is blowing directly on me. Hopefully, sometime next year, I'll have a better air conditioning setup and some better insulation. I was out earlier today. I'll give you a little spoiler thing. Things limit on. I have a new review. One of these should be able to get to shortly, hopefully. Got the new Hanger 9 Ultra Stick. And this just came in. And I actually went out and flew it today. And it's really nice, actually. I only had a couple of flights on it, so I really need to get used to it. But it's got all kinds of neat mixing set up with it. And what's neat is right out of the box, it's ready to go. Just add a receiver. It's an all wood built up ARF. But the servos are already installed. The motor is installed. The speed controller is installed. Just screw on the landing gear, which is mostly built, and screw on the tail, and you're ready to go. It took me longer to do the programming than it did to put it together. So look for this sometime in the not too distant future. We'll see how the video came out today. The lighting wasn't optimal, so I need to download the video and see if it's worth it or not. I may have to do another session, but it's back in one piece, like my last model, and I had a good time with it. Really nice flying model, very fun with some really neat features. So I thought I'd mention that. But really, the main reason I am here today is, I'm going to move the camera around here again, is some time ago I had set up some auxiliary workbenches so I can actually work on some projects, my own personal and reviews and whatnot. And let me move this over as much as I can. And one of these is now this. Until recently, this workbench was basically holding up stuff. Had an airplane on it, some random bits and pieces and boxes. So I finally cleared it off and got some Homosote. This is a really good soundproofing material. I don't know if I can zoom in on it. That at least here in the States, you can buy at certain home improvement stores. I couldn't get it at the big box stores like Home Depot or Lowe's, but there was a local place, I think it was called McAllister's, that had it. And it comes in 4x8 sheets, and you can cut it. It's fairly soft. You can cut it with a circular saw, but it's really messy. And I found out just by using a box knife and a couple of cuts, it actually cuts fairly easily with a box knife and a lot less messier. So I ended up doing it with this one. I've been using it for some time, and the great thing about it is, see if I can zoom in, it's semi-porous, so you can take a straight pin and stick it right in as a building board. So it's really nice stuff, and it's pretty flat, but once you lay it down, you can either screw it down, or this one I didn't screw down, it laid pretty flat as it was. I think I put some weight on it for a couple of days and it was good. So this is a workbench I built with just using a hollow core door and some 2x4s that I slapped together and put this on top as a workbench. And it works great. I've already built a plane. I built several planes on it. Looking at, there's already one on the my main review table, which is a Harbor Freight roll around. I think I put some wheels on, roll around, and that's the one you usually see in the reviews. It's got the Homosote on it, and I built some models there. But I wanted to expand my building work area, so I can still. This is still free for me to do other stuff because I have some reviews in process, and now I have this other workbench. I added some lighting. And so this bench is free for me to take as long as I need to work on stuff. And so what I do is I roll the plans down, and then I add, I used to use wax paper. And then a friend of mine says, no, don't use wax paper, use parchment paper. And I said, well, I'm not a cook. What the heck is parchment paper? And so I go to the store, and parchment paper is actually a little less sticky than wax paper. It's not quite as clear, but it's actually still good. I can still see the lines on the table and whatnot, and the glue doesn't quite stay. It still sticks to a little bit, but not quite as much. So I use parchment paper, just regular, whatever you get at your grocery store or whatever, and I build on top of that, and then just pull it off and replace it when it's worn out, or after I pull up the wing. So you're probably guessing, what the heck am I building? Imagine if I look at the chat. I want to go take a look at the chat here. And see if it's, yeah, for some reason my chat is not linking up with what's on the phone. Why is it a problem? Maybe the live chat. Okay, I guess I wasn't showing the live chat. Let's see. Hal's got me a couple things. Building a plastic B25. Oh, great. Hanger 960 size that I would like to convert to electric. Sure, it should make a good electric. Replacement needed. Yeah, so yeah, Russell's saying he's got the same stuff. So yeah, I picked up a bunch of stuff, and I got enough for a couple of tables. Anyways, I was saying, you're probably wondering, what the heck am I building? I've got something called the Leprechaun. Hopefully it's in the right. I don't know, it looks backwards for some reason on my thing. So this is a glider. This is, I don't know how long it's been out. I believe it's a reproduction of a very old design. And I've got this from, give me a second, Hobby Club here in the States. And this is a kit full of wood. It says build plane. And there's it's laser cut. In fact, I'll turn around here real quick. There is, excuse my messy table, stacked wood, die cut, all kinds of stuff. Some sticks and plywood. So I've got, as I need parts, I'll grab it from the table here. This is actually a review model that will be in Model Aviation at some point whenever I get around to finishing it. So this was sort of came up unexpectedly. And it's a powered glider. It's got a nice, really elliptical wing and tail look to it. It's almost like an old school free flight-ish looking thing. And it is big. This doesn't do, this is half the wing, and the fuselage, give me a sec, I'll go get the fuselage here. Fuselage is taller than I am. So I have, let me zoom out. So here is the fuselage. See if I can, there we go. Can you see it? Kind of, sort of. So I've done a whole bunch of work already on the fuselage, and it'll have a small motor in the front with a folding prop. And it is, if you can't really see me too well, sorry if it's a little dark over here. My lighting is not quite as good over here, but yeah, see, right next to me, and you still can't see the top. Well, this is the tail technically. So it's a monster of a thing built all out of sticks. So sticks and stones may break my bones, but sticks and planes turn me on. So this is, I still got to do a little bit of shaping on the nose, and it'll have removable wings and a removable tail. So I've already done quite a bit of work on it. So let me get to the wings now, and probably not going to be the most exciting thing, but I thought, what the heck? If I'm going to be bored, might as well be bored with me, huh? All right, so apologize, this is not the best angle ever, but you should kind of get an idea what's going on. So what's interesting is, why is it? Oh, to get you a prop. Yes, I've got a. Terry didn't give me one, but I got one from a local vendor. Got one from New Creations. It's over here. I want to go. I think it's over here. Rummage around for a second. Yeah, here they are. So I'm going to have a. If I can find a motor. Actually found it this time. So I just grabbed something out of my box. The instructions gave you an idea what motor class to use. Hopefully it'll focus. Come on. There we go. So something called a Suppo, kind of a lesser brand, but they're decent motors. It's a little 500 watt motor, not very big, but it actually has pretty much exact specs that the instructions were calling for. And I happen to have one. So, I buy one when I already have one hanging around, and they're still made. You can still find these motors online for really inexpensive motors. Suppo 2814-8, which is a 1000 kV roughly motor. And I did get some props. I've got a prop hub from X Products. It's going to have a folding prop. So I got the one with a vent in the front for a little extra cooling. And it has two little sort of wing pieces where you attach the prop. So you can get a folding prop like this. Come back a little bit. So the folding prop attaches to the side like that. There's two of them, and they swivel. They'll swivel out in a centrifugal force, and then they'll fold back when you brake. And so I ended up getting a couple of different props, different companies. I've got a Aeronaut, I believe is a German company. Roughly, I think I got a 12 and a 13-inch prop of various capacities. To experiment to see which one works better. It's a pretty big plane, so I think they said a 13 on the instructions. A 12, I think, was what the motor called for. So I got a 12-incher at a little lower pitch, and then a higher pitch. No, 13-incher lower pitch, 12-incher with a little higher pitch. And I'll experiment with one to see which gives me the best performance. Hopefully they'll give me in the ballpark. So yes, so thanks to my buddy Nathan for picking these up for me. So it saved me a trip. Got those yesterday. So right now I just got to get the airframe finished. There we go. Let's see if I can get this a little higher. Shoot the camera. You get to see a part of the shop it's normally not seen. All right, so catch up in the chat here. Warbird Pilot, who makes the kit? I got it from Hobby Club. I believe it's just hobbyclub.com. It's called the Leprechaun Pro. Look, it's on their website. Go take a look. It's a 100-inch wingspan, if I remember correctly. It's a big mother. And currently building BH models, 8-inch Aero Commander Shrike. Yeah. Well, it runs 2 Ren 40. Holy mother. So SC1212 Able has a Aero Commander. Oh, I love Aero Commanders. Didn't know BH model had a big. Is that still available? I always loved the Aero Commanders. I've scratch built a couple of small ones from RC model plans years ago. It'd stand way off scale, but it's the first one was powered by 2 OS 10 engines, and it lasted about a flight and a half before the wings folded. And then I built it with 2 049s like it was supposed to be, and I flew the heck out of that one. Now I actually wore it out. And then I built one for Speed 400 electric in the early days and flew that a lot. So I always liked that plane. Of course, Bob Hoover made it famous. So I have to look that up. That's cool. A big one like that. But turboprops, that's insane and awesome at the same time. Wow. Ren 44. I always thought it would be neat to get a turboprop for something else, for another project I had in mind, but I won't say it. But I've seen some RC turboprops, and they're really cool to watch. And and I'm always fascinated by how they do the gearing and stuff on it. So anyways, I want to start working on this a little bit, and we can go from there, and I'll keep an eye on the chat, and I'll talk about what I'm doing. The interesting thing is all these ribs are ply. This is all light ply. Hopefully you can see that. Oh, good. It looks like it's coming in. And so I had punched out a bunch of the ribs, and they've got a slight undercamber to it as well. That's going to be interesting. So it's not going to lie flat on the building board. So this is going to be interesting, and how I may have to get inventive how to do all this work. Same thing for the trailing edge. I put the trailing edge down with these 1, 2, 3 blocks. These are machinist blocks, great weights. Excuse me. And so I got a plywood trailing edge, plywood wingtip. I think wing edge is balsa for shaping. So I'm going to have to use some medium and thick glues to work with that. Then it's not going to catch it. So I'll get my Starbond. Look for the link for the discounts. Anyways, so I've been prepping to get this ready. In fact, I'm going to pull some of these ribs out of here. This is a really interesting wing design, and not exactly sure how I'm going to approach it. So you're going to have to watch me in real time figure this out, because I don't know if you can see it, but there's got a spar here that's straight and then takes a bend. And I thought, well, that's odd. So I'm going to, that spar is going to have to be in 2 pieces, because it's too much of a bend, I think, to do. Yeah, it's going to have to be in 2 pieces. Fortunately, it's a trailing edge. It's not going to have a lot of strength on it. And I've got 2 other spars here from the front. And I actually, the wood that comes in the kit was too short. I had to splice it to make it a little bit longer. So, and I'm going to put the splices near the wingtips, so it should be the least stress on it. The instructions are kind of basic. There's some pictures, but this is definitely a model. If you've already built a model, I don't think I'd recommend this to an absolute beginner builder. I'll probably put that in the article, that the manual is adequate but deficient, if you can say that. But I've built, gliders before and stuff, and so I should be able to figure it out. So I'm going to start with the instructions. We're talking about putting on a few ribs here from the root forward. Can't quite tell which one. It looks like up to be 8. All right. So what's nice is all the ribs have right on them what they are, laser engraved, which is pretty cool. So I'm going to start with adding the ribs here, and here, and here. I think I can just slide them on, sort of. So this undercamber makes this fun. Normally you can lie a flat on the table or something, but not quite with this undercambered ribs here. So I'm going to have to slide some stuff in there. Whoops. Oh, actually damaged one of the ribs already. Good work, Smithers. There we go. So right now I'm just going to dry fit everything. And we'll go from there. Add the rib. That's 6. What happened to the other ones? There they are. So, and already I made a boo-boo. Put rib 5. That's not rib 5. So this is rib 1. So I'm going to pay attention to what I'm doing here. Rib 1, rib 2. Hope you can see this. I'm not looking at the camera. The leading edge looks like it'll keep it up. Yeah, you can kind of sort of see it. Let me move the camera over a little bit. There we go. Twin Avanti. Steve Muncie. Twin, do you have a YouTube video of that, Steve? Let's see. This one. That is 3. Seems a little off. Why does it seem off? That's 3. All right, so what I might do is pull this stick out. I think it's getting in the way. It's not really touching anything. We'll do the trailing edge. I am seriously contemplating gluing in the trailing edge here just so it all stays together. We might just do that. And then I can connect everything with the front spar. Some models you can sort of just frame everything up real quick and then glue. But this one, the fit is good, but it's not terribly tight. And that way I can pin some stuff down. SP5. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've already broken a piece. I don't know if you can see that. The hand fisted it. So I'll throw some glue on it so I can. That happens sometimes. Put a piece on there. A little bit of kicker. There we go. I should hold it. All right, don't miss anything. Cut a piece of link, that's fine. This is fantastic. Hope you show the whole build. You just set the camera up and do your thing. Yeah, I'm a little worried this might be kind of boring just watching me put stuff on the table and sticks, and it's not very close. I'm limited by the cable. There's a cable connected to the computer with the camera, and it's at its limit. So I don't know how much you can see with me getting in the way. Sorry. I cannot move the camera at a better angle. I'm stuck. I'll have to get another a longer HDMI cable. But I'm working my way over. So building could be neat. I don't know for how many of you guys in chat really build stuff from sticks or from kits. It's not like it used to be. It used to be building kits and stuff was the main way you got an airplane. Now, of course, with all the ARFs and stuff, life is a lot easier. It's still at 7. But still, if you want to get something unique or unusual, you have to find a kit, either a short kit or a full-up kit like this one. I think I stopped at 8. But it can be just kind of relaxing. If I wasn't doing this live stream, I'd have either some music or I'd be listening to YouTube or listening to YouTube, all kinds of interesting things on YouTube, documentaries, podcasts, things you want to listen about the geopolitical situation in the world, or you just want to learn how to historical lesson on the Peloponnesian Wars. all kinds of neat stuff. World War II stories. Somebody was just telling me today there's a really neat presentation that was given at MIT on an F-22. I thought was kind of cool. So that looks like together, and the instructions are really just telling me to do the trailing edge and the main spars. Now, this doesn't have a regular spar per se, which is interesting. It's just got basically stringers. I don't know if there's any shear webbing. I haven't looked that far ahead. And it does not. Well, there's a box structure that's at least. Oh, that's for the spar. It's interesting. But it is a C-tube at least. So it's got sheeting on the leading edge up to the spar. We're up to the first group of spars. So that should be strong enough. Unlike my old Gentle Lady, when I built a Gentle Lady, that had a notoriously weak wing. All right, so I got the first group of spars on. This is what the instructions are calling for, basically. Although there's more, but I may stop here and see if I can find my triangle. I used to have a little triangle. I got a big one that I like to use to set up the verticals, but I need my little one. Where'd it go? I used to have a little one. Is this small enough? No, wait a minute. We'll use it like this. That'll work. And I can also use the 1, 2, 3 blocks too. That might work. In fact, I might do that. No, that'll work. And I probably will need to pin down this. No, I can't do that. Shoot. So the only thing about working with plywood, you can't pin it down very easily. So that's why I'm using the weights. Normally I'd stick a pin. I could try to cross pin it, at least to keep it from moving. So I can stick a pin there. Pin there. There you go. So at least it doesn't shift around on me. Yeah, that's a nice thing about the homosew. You can just stick pins right in it. And it'll take a long time before you wear it out. The other table has, I might end up replacing the homosew sometime in the near future. Not because I wore it out, simply because it's just looking kind of icky. I've spilt things on it and it's got spots and other stuff. It's perfectly fine. It just doesn't look all that great anymore cosmetically. Sometimes I come home and stick a plane on it and realize, oh wait, it's dripping fuel. Oops. All right, so I got these. All right. My own worst enemy. All right. Yeah, I see the chat's kind of got a bunch of stuff on here. Let me just take a look at that real quick. Here's who cares? You know, this is such a learning tool I've been waiting to build last time. 1978. Wow, that's been a while. No YouTube back then. No, there's no. Yeah. Do you have T-pins? Yeah, I do have T-pins, Hal. They're right here. I felt like using the blue ones. I go back and forth. The plans are held down in the parchment papers. I'm using parchment paper on top of the plans. Those are being held down by the T-pins. So I'll go back and forth depending on how I feel. So yeah, it was It's the Puma Nevada. Yeah, it's a very interesting wing design. It's very elliptical. It should have good performance being elliptical, but it requires some really custom laser cutting to get the nice form. All right, so I think I got it pinned down enough so it doesn't really slide around on me. Probably what I'm going to do is, I think I'm gonna glue down the trailing edges just so they don't move around on me. Glue them flat, and then and then glue the leading edge. I may have to put some weights so they stay down. Yeah, I'm kind of thinking this out. I really haven't thought about much how I'm going to do the wing. Again, the problem is we've got a under-cambered wing, so the bottom spars don't lay flat. They actually raised up. I want to make sure this is all aligned good and that everything's going to fit well. Oh, I may be able to take these same pins and cross pin them on the leading edge enough through the holes. No, I think they're not really sticking up. Probably what I'll do is get some more weights. I think that's what I'll do. See how that works. It's always good to have a bunch of weights, and I got more lead weights. Hidden away here in the drawer. I can probably use. All right, so I got some homemade weights that were made by a friend of mine. He had a lead melting thing, and he had these little forms. I think these were actually, what do you call it? Muffin? He used a muffin pin. And so these are muffin shaped lead weights. And so they're not the prettiest thing in the world, but they come in handy. So yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue down these trailing edges here. So what I'll do is add some glue here. Cut that down. Make sure it's in well. A little kicker. And done. That was easy. And I will repeat. Again, sorry if you can't really see it that well. Just adding some glue. And kicker. Since it's plywood to plywood, I'm using medium CA. So I would use medium or thick. The thick I have is really thick. So medium is doing a good job, it looks like. Push it in, hold it down. A little bit of kicker. So this is just a trailing edge. I'm not worried too much about the vertical alignment. Just trying to get everything down so it doesn't move around on me. Make sure everything's flat. Oh, make sure I get the right numbers. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I don't want any more mistakes. And they are lined up with the plan. 6, 5, 5, 4. They say measure twice, cut once. Well, double check twice, glue once. So the trailing edge is a nice little keyed slot. So just basically there's a little teeny slot. Stick it in there. And give it some kicker. And done. I've come to really like the aerosol type kicker versus the spritzy kind. And it was kind of personal preference. But for me, I don't know why. I seem to prefer the finer atomization that it has. Atomization? Oh, let me know how the video feed is coming through. Sometimes my Wi-Fi goes wonky. So almost done over here in the dark corner. Now that winter's coming, interesting. Anybody watching? If they have a build project they're working on, they're considering, since especially in the north, flying season is going to come to an end in not too long a time. Yes, Jonathan, it's called the Leprechaun. What's the name again of the material of the workshop? How was it spelled? Here, let me see if I can put it in the chat. There you go. I've used wedge-shaped shims to hold up the bottom spars and undercarriage wing. With the right taper, you can adjust them as needed. And that's a good idea. Okay, thanks for the video. South Australia. Oh, you're up kind of late, aren't you? So, yeah, I was actually thinking about that. Somebody put in the chat a wedge shape or something. So I'm thinking, now that I've got the trailing edges glued down, they look good. Of putting something, either a shim, a wedge shape, everything wedge shape. Stand by, accessing, thinking. So I got to do two things. For example, I need to hold down the leading edge. I can use a weight like this. What I could do is start with the end ones. Put a weight on the end ones, right on the line. Then slide everything up. So good news is they've done a pretty good job of measuring the laser cut, the curves and stuff. So the fit is really quite good. And so right now I'm aligning the ribs to the plans best I can. Some of the ribs are a little bit, I won't say warped, just a little not perfectly straight. Wood, that happens to wood sometimes. It's sitting in a box. So the good news is the wood is tight enough so it stays, at least the quote-unquote spars. So what I'll do is wait there. I'm going to try that. All right, so I'm going to, that's down, that is up. So I'm taking a look at the wood. Oh, okay. It was throwing me off. The slot is a little deeper from the back. There's a good 1/8 inch gap between the bottom of the rib and the bottom of the spar. But then I realized, oh yeah, it's being sheeted. It'll have some balsa wood sheeting. So this is higher than this, and that's good. So had me worried for a second. So I think what I'm going to do is, now that this one is lined up and looking good, I'll glue this end, well, semi-end for now, end rib. And the reason I didn't go all the way over is because we got a bend that's coming here. And so I think I want to stop here and get this section good and framed up nicely. So then I can start doing the really weird, because it's got a bend and it's also going to taper down towards the wingtip. So I think it's good. Again, the instructions really basic. It basically says build wing. Literally, it's pretty much all it says. Build wing, and there's a couple of pictures. Okay, so I think I'll start here. I was using a triangle to get everything sort of leveled up, so that looks good. So we're gonna, and of course I just touched it. I'm always real careful before I commit to gluing, because I don't want to screw this up. I mean, I can fix it. So throw some medium CA in there. I'll do it on both sides. Let it sit there for a second. Oh, wow. Didn't have to put kicker on it. Looks like it did a good job. All right, I'm going to, just for giggles, stick a pin here temporarily, I think, just so it doesn't move on me. Since it's way out there, shouldn't be a problem. All right, so this is glued here. It's got a pretty vertical. It's glued there, so I'm going to go out on this side. Line it up best I can. Oh, that's good. What's nice is I can use the triangle to hold it straight and check the alignment. In fact, I'm going to put some weight on the triangle. The reason I'm doing is the wood is slightly warped. So I'm just being extra careful, because I know it's going to butt against another piece. Oh, it's off, isn't it? Oh, that's good. So to minimize sanding, sorry if I'm being a little quiet. I'm looking, double checking, triple checking. So it's vertical. Yeah. Lined up with the plans best I can. And of course, the wood came down. All right. Enough lollygagging. Throw some glue on that. All right, and I'll call that done in a second. While it's curing, I'll take a look at anybody's cut my shims. Wing build is looking very clean. Oh, thanks. I just started. So I wish people would build again. Come back for kits would be wonderful. Balsa prices are the only thing soaring. Yeah. Balsa prices have shot up. Hopefully at some point they'll come back down again. Aerospace industry is buying our balsa. I understand a lot of his a lot of windmills are reaching their end of life, and they use balsa core, and so they've got to buy up a whole bunch of balsas to build new windmill blades. Oh, excuse me. And if you've ever seen a windmill blade, those things are huge. A whole lot of balsa trees got to give up their life to make a windmill. All right. So I've got this one is glued in. Good. This one's glued in. So I think at this point I'll just start working my way down. And okay, so it looks like interesting. The first is the sheeting change on this. Yes. Okay. So it's got a sort of an L shape. So the first two ribs don't have the notch. So I'm noticing just little details that I'm just double checking. So engineering in a kit seems to be pretty good. Man, I wish I had more weights. Hold on, I had a thought. No, actually, once it's way down. Well, never mind. All right, we'll go to the next one. Get that lined up. Impromptu triangle. My glue go. There it is. Do the next one. Work my way down. Okay, again, if you're just joining, this is the Leprechaun from a company called Value Planes. I'm getting this one via Hobby Club, which is their address, hobbyclub.com. And it is I believe, 100-inch. I think all the measurements are in meters. Is 2.6 meter powered glider. And this will be ultimately a review in Model Aviation Magazine. I don't know when it'll go live. It depends on when I finish it. But I was offered to do the review, and I said, yeah, why not? It's getting the weather's getting cooler now. If you subscribe to Model Aviation, you can look. Last year, I did a build review of the Mustache Model Works DH2 Beaver, which I still have, is hanging up. Came out really nice. It was extremely well engineered kit, though it has a lot of pieces to it. Look up Mustache Model Works online and you'll see it. Really good engineering job on it. I believe the gentleman was a former Horizon Hobby employee, decided to come up with his own line of kits. It's a full balsa kit. You get a box of wood of all different shapes and sizes. I'll use some weight as I go along here. When the video is done, I'll post a link in the description for people that are curious about this. I had never heard of it until the editor of the magazine called me up and said, "Hey, you interested?" And I said, "Aye, me lad. She'd be a fine lass of an airplane." So, of course, it's probably more Scottish than Irish, but anyways. So I'm just going along, gluing, adjusting. So eyeballing it. Doesn't have to be super perfect, but I do want to make it neat. So oops, is that right? I might need to. I think I'm going to use the 1, 2, 3 block. There we go. So I think I just got 2 more ribs to go, and that'll be done for that. That fit. It fits in there, all right. Oops. Wait. All right. Yeah, building is sort of sometimes a little bit repetitious. Sometimes you just don't think about the end product, just think about the process, because I'm going to be doing a lot of ribs. This is just half a wing, and I'm half of a wing. So this is going to take a while. But it's a nice Sunday afternoon. Let me catch up to the chat here. Thanks, Super. Instructions are awesome. No, the instructions are not awesome. Sure me about the police. What? Oh, I must be talking to somebody else. Oh, June Edwards. Yep. Started the building season. You always use super glue other than white glue. Yes, I very rarely use white glue. Closest thing I use a white glue is a canopy glue for canopies. I'm not that patient for white glue. I know some people like white glue, or even really old people like embroid. You can. There's nothing wrong with alphatic glue. Lots of people like to use it. I'm in a bit of a time crunch with this. So white glue, you got to put it on, set it up, and then walk away for overnight and come back and set it up and glue it and walk away. I've always been a CA person since forever. The last time I never really used white glue too much. I used to use tube cement for balsa wood. The old testers made it when I was a kid building free flight models. But that's because CA was still kind of new and too expensive for my poverty-stricken childhood. So yeah, we're gonna have to pin this down with a leading edge. It's not too bad though. But each to his own. Some people are allergic to CA or the smells of it, and you can get odorless CA too. So it's really how much of a rush you're in. And some people say alphatic glue is nice because it's not as brittle as CA on the wing. And that could be an issue for some people, but that's really your choice. Stream's starting to cut in and out a little bit. All right, let me know if the streaming is really bad. What covering using? I haven't decided on a covering. I'll probably use Ultra Coat. Most likely, at least some of it will be transparent, just because that's cool, transparency on the glider, but maybe not all transparent. I haven't decided on a paint scheme yet, color scheme. The manual has a really uninspiring. It looks. I won't say uninspiring. That's too harsh. It's basically. It looks like something out of an old free flight. It looks like you covered it in tissue or silk span. And I guess it's okay for what it is, but I'd like something a little more colorful. It's really too plain. Maybe that's what I'll say it. So mine will be something a little more colorful, I think. I haven't decided. All right, so we've got the first. Oh, here it is. The spar is in. And I think that's looking pretty decent. Hopefully nothing's messed up. I wish I could walk around the other side and take a look. So I glue everything up. Looks like it's pulled up nicely. All right, so there's another spar that goes in. I think I'll glue that in. Calling them spars just simply to be. Hopefully I can slide it in here. Yeah. Oh, get in there. I don't care what you smell. I can just barely slide in there. That's cool. I think I can do that. There we go. All right. Okay, I'll just slide these up. Like that. Again, the fit is pretty good. Oh, that one's a little loose. That's all right. So, and I will, like before, I'll stick a pin at the very end here so it doesn't move around on me. This is my 1, 2, 3 block. Eyeball it. That looks good. Nice about doing the front and back first and then going the middle after is I can take out the curve. The wood, as wood was stacked, has got a bit of a bow to it. You can't see it. So now I'm doing the middle spars I can use those to tick out the bow. And so the spars will be pretty straight, or straight enough. So I'm just lining everything up. One thing I like to do, you can't see it, is I'll close one eye so I don't have the parallax error when looking at the plans and alignment. That way I can get everything lined up quite nicely. And so I was worried I'd have to make a wedge to pull everything up, but everything seems to be more or less staying up. I'll see what I can do. This one is up as far as the wood staying, not falling back down in the slot. So I'm going to start with the end one again. That's up, it's aligned. Throw some glue on that. Nice thing about the medium is it seems to wick in a little bit. I'll probably go back and double check all the glue joints once everything is set, but right now I'm just trying to get it set up first. All right. Pull that up. Oh. Uh-oh, did I lose did I lose? Hopefully the stream's still running. I looked at the chat, disappeared for a second. Dental mirror. That's a good idea. Do I have one? I think I might have a dental mirror. Oops. Excuse me for a second. My microphone just fell off. That's why I like to chat. You guys have some great ideas. I may have one. Check my box of stuff. I know I had a little magnet thing. No, I don't see it. Ah. That's a good idea. All right, well, I'll have to check if I have a dental mirror. Let's see. It's still going. Hesitates on in. Okay. The stream will hesitate every once in a while because the Wi-Fi connection is a little temperamental, but hopefully as long as it stays. Okay. Who manufactures kit? Is it a Danish one? Is it the original polyhedral leprechaun or Mark II optimized for RC? This one is not polyhedral. I was looking at that and I thought it was for a second, but it's not. So I believe this one is optimized. If what you're saying, it's optimized for RC. It's got a rudder elevator and throttle, and it's basically just a simple dihedral. Again, it's called, hopefully this is not backwards, the Leprechaun. It is made by Value Planes. It's a Chinese company. But in the States, we get it from, at least one of the places is Hobby Club. Okay. So we're left off. I had one rib is down, two rib is glued. I didn't do the end one. Started working my way and then forgot about the end rib, so I'm going to do that one right now. This one I want to be extra careful in getting it aligned because it has a butt against the center rib for the on the fuselage. So I'm going to make sure that one is straight. I can. I'm probably going to have to block sand it a little bit at some point to get a really smooth fit, but if I can get it close enough before gluing it. I hope that's close. Did I push it in too far? I can't tell. Oh, well, that's what it is now. Yeah, I might have pushed it in just a little too far. Just a millimeter or two. It's all right. That's why we have sanding. Yeah, the glue dried, the glue cured already. Gotta push it out. Ow. Oh, good. The glue wasn't quite cured. I get a do-over. Yay. I got it out of the way. Yeah, sorry you can't see this. Oops. There we go. Looks like the wood was a spar got a little thin over here, so I'm gonna have to use some kicker. Oh yeah, that smells good. Oh yeah, why is the room moving? So yeah, thanks everybody for joining on me in this impromptu live stream on HobbyView. Just thought I'd see people join in on me working on a balsa wood kit. Something I don't do as often as I like sometimes is build a kit. I actually have my own kits I like to get to, but I keep getting stuff in the way for other reasons, so I can't get to some of my own kits. But I do have a bunch of kits myself that I've collected over the years that I plan to get to at some point in life. I have some that I've already built, but some that are in the box. You go to a swap meet and you see something really cool, and you're like, "Wow, that's a neat kit," or partially built kit, or something like that. Balsa wood. I like my foamies just as well as anybody else, but it is sometimes nice to build something up from near scratch. So if you're new to the channel, take a look. I built a QT a couple of years ago. I did a video on that. That one was completely scratch built, and through the process, I did some of my own laser cutting. It's not working. And I haven't done a live stream in a while, so I said, well, this is a good excuse as any to have a live stream, get some content, and talk to you guys. You guys, one of the nice things about these live streams, I get to chat with people. Some people I know personally, some people I don't. I can guarantee you I don't know anybody who's talking from Australia, but it's always cool to talk to know that other people in other countries are watching, and people around the States as well. And we'll go from there. Oops. So I'm just blocking things. I'm just making sure everything's in a nice right angle, lined up with the plans best I can, and glue as I go along. Oh, it's not glue. I'm actually surprised how fast the medium is curing. Now, I was just thinking about that. This is going to be real fun to cover. Covering under-cambered wings is always entertaining, to say the least. I know I've done it before. I'm trying to think what it was with. Yeah, it's over here somewhere. I forgot. It was another free flight conversion, but it went pretty well. I see the wing right here, and the fuselage is over there. And for its life of me, the name eludes me. I wish I remember what it was called. That our club was doing a sort of a SAM thing, Society of Antique Modelers, climb and glide, sort of impromptu thing. And we did it a couple times and it kind of lost interest in it. But I built from a kit a large free flight conversion. And that was a weird thing to fly because the old time free flights don't like a lot of power. You add power, they just go straight up because the CG's pushed so far back with a lifting tail. But when you come off the power to power off, they settle into a really nice glide. So they're real efficient and glide, but under power, you got to hold almost full down elevator just to keep the thing from looping over itself 5 times in 10 feet. Just see the video. Okay, so I wasn't intending to do a full build video of this. This is for a magazine, so it'll be mostly stills. But I think people are asking about other stuff, so maybe I'll do some periodic live streams as I go through different parts of it. So I'm doing the wing now. I didn't do the fuselage; that's already built. So I guess covering. Maybe I'll do when I start doing the covering. I'll have another live stream. We can go over the covering. People like to see that. Can you run a first build kit? Well, I can make suggestions, but I would need to know more information. Are you talking a glider? Or are you talking a powered plane? Anything in particular? Whales. Yeah. All right. So at this point, the bottom 2 spars, 2 out of 3, are glued in. Looks like everything lined up pretty well. And I'm thinking about doing the third one. Third one should be faster because I don't need to worry about lining stuff up too much. So, but I do need to get the wood over. There we go. Kind of stuck here. There we go. So I'm going to pin that one on the other side, at least at first, so it doesn't move on me. Now this one is a weird one because it's got a bent piece to it. So I'm gonna try to make it so that it doesn't stick all the way through, maybe about halfway through the thickness of the rib. That way when I cut the other piece, there's gonna be another piece that's gonna go here. But instead of being straight, it's gonna be bent like that. That's a little odd and not and structurally questionable. But there shouldn't be a whole lot of stress on it. These are all straight, and the majority of the stress will be there, and that'll handle it. So I'll just make sure that's lined up and pulled up. And add some glue. Kick quick. Give it a second to cure. While it's curing. Yeah, it's really not taking too long. This is the first time I've attempted to wing, so I'm sure the second one will go faster. I won't be showing that. I'll be quitting before that. But it's nice to show that I can just pull everything up. Line everything up. Pull it up. Pull it up. Pull it up. 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 Put the heavier one down there. So That's glued. Need to I'm gonna put a couple of pins on here so it doesn't move. I can't stick through the wood, but I can straddle it with a pin so it doesn't move. I can pull all the ones up here. There we go. The nice thing with these 1-2s, I didn't mention it, is since it's under cambered, it doesn't fit flush with the plans, but I can look at the edge of the block and see where that it lines up with the lines on the plans, which is kind of nice. Which is very nice, very useful. So that's how I know they're all straight. Again, you can't see it on the camera, sorry. The only thing is, it's a little dark at the very end here. I added a bunch of lights to the workshop, but I really need one more up on the left here, I think. This is the first time I've actually built something on this particular table, and I'm noticing some of the deficiencies of my lighting situation. So, where's the medium here? So this is good. I think we're gonna glue this. There we go. I'm just being anal on the alignment. It's really not that critical. Nobody's going to notice, but I don't know. Sometimes I'm just, I feel like it. I'll notice it. That's it. The nice thing is everything's lined up. I can just glue everything real quick. It's a little bendy, just a block to hold it up. So, okay, so we got spar. We got spar. All right, that's down. So I think at this point I can start adding the other ribs on the backside. I think that's kind of what they say. Yeah. All right. So that's glued down. This looks good structurally. Shouldn't move anywhere. I think what I'll do is I'll carefully pin these so they don't move. I think. Oh, it's too high. I think I can pin this. There we go. So I'm just going to use the pins to sort of keep things from shifting around too much. I think that'll work. That shouldn't be a problem. It's not going to move. Even though these bottom spars are off the board a little bit, the pin's long enough to stick through them and into the Himmelsote enough. They won't move. All right, so those are not going anywhere. Because I'm going to need to lift these up in the end here. See, anything show up? Here's covering. Hello from Northern Alberta, Canada. Hello, Robert. That's a BA wingboard. Yes, look it up. Leprechaun, 2.2 meter span. I think it's 2.6 meter. Excuse me. Yeah, this has got a lot of cord. So I'm really curious on how this will fly. It's probably not going to have a whole lot of huge penetration. Undercarrier wings tend to be maybe a little draggy, if I remember correctly. I'm not an aerodynamicist, although I play one on TV. But it should have a lot of lift at low speed. It should be really good for just cruising around, and we'll see how well it can thermal. So I'm going to start adding the extra ribs now. We got these nice laser cut plywood ribs in this guy. So we've got number 9. Can I get this in here? And number 10. Look at this. I'm just going to stick them in for now. We'll get them lined up in a second. Number 11. It's interesting, these plans, there's actually a left and right wing on the same plan overlapping each other. And so there's lines for ribs here. So you got to be careful that you don't stick it in the wrong slot. Fortunately, the trailing edge only has this I don't know if you can see this, some slots in them. You can see that, which is nice. So that's why I'm putting the trailing edge in first. So that way I know I'm not going to put it in the wrong spot. Oops. So in fact, I need to glue the trailing edges in. So I'm going to glue those down. Make sure it's the right one. 9, 9, 9, 9. There you go. Speaking of 9, I was watching a really neat World War II movie on Netflix. It's called The Forgotten Battle. And if I'm not mistaken, it's actually a Dutch production out of Europe. And so it was interesting because it was obviously when they were speaking Dutch, it was dubbed in English. But they also had German, which was spoken in German with subtitles. And it looked like an interesting premise. What caught my attention was there's a bunch of scenes of airplanes. That catches, you put airplanes in a movie, that catches my attention. And it was something you don't usually see. It was an interesting storyline. It involved kind of 2 different stories playing together at the same time, and they eventually kind of coalesced together. But one of them was a British airborne group that was they were flying gliders, of all things, combat gliders. The British, I forgot the name of them, the cigar-shaped combat gliders. And if I remember correctly, the movies is around the events of Operation Market Garden, which is late 1944 invasion of basically the north of Europe, the German stronghold up there, and I don't know if it was Denmark or I know Europeans are screaming at me, but it's something not very talked about very much. I think the movie A Bridge Too Far covers that as well, that the same campaign. And it was neat because they showed, I'm sure it's all CG, but it was really well done, showing the combat gliders, some British planes you don't normally see. At first I thought they were Lancasters, but actually they're Halifax. Are they Halifax? Yeah, I think they're Halifax bombers and a few C-47s. It was really neat and really well done. And it shows a group of guys, they get beat up pretty good flying into Germany. And then there's not a whole lot of flying scenes. It's mainly the first 20 minutes or so of the movie, and then most of the rest of it takes place on the ground. But I thought it was very well done. It was really, and being a war movie, it's pretty gut wrenching at times. But kudos to the company that did it. I believe it was a Dutch production. Waco CG4. No, it wasn't the Waco. It was the Wacos are the American one. These are British gliders. Look, maybe somebody can do a quick search. I forgot what they're called. They look like they'd be really complicated to build because they were, it looked like a big cigar with wings. And it had some nice cockpit views and stuff. And it was really a pretty captivating movie. Okay, so that's in, and that's glued. Probably should glue the wingtip here. So if you have Netflix, I don't know if it's, check it out. I think it was called The Forgotten Battle or Forgotten War or something like that. It always interests me to watch some World War II movies. Especially with airplanes. Airplanes. All right, so I'm getting the wing rib here lined up, set. So it's starting to look like a wing, isn't it? It kind of sort of looks like a wing. Well, I do declare. So let's move some of the weights up front here. And so we're going to start pulling the ribs up here. Pull everything up. I do the same thing, get the tip lined up. It's looking good. It's looking good. It's up. It's up. It's down. All right. Let's give it some glue here. I know we had a gentleman in the chat talking about aliphatic glue. Yeah, I don't know how you guys. Things were a lot more patient than I am, especially back in the day. I'm building models without super glue. Put everything together, glue it, then walk away. No, it's all good. I'm sure I would have done the same thing. If I didn't have super glue, I would just whatever worked. I would have just done it. Don't know any better. Probably what you do is you build two planes at the same time, right? So while one's curing, you can work on the other one. Oh, sorry, my big head's in the way. I don't have any more length on the camera cable. Note to self, I'll buy a longer cable. You don't think I will do that for next time? Horsa, okay. AS51 Horsa. That sounds like that could be it. I wonder if there's any still around. I don't remember if I saw one when I was in Europe at different air museums. To be honest, I'd hope a few would survive. There's some old training ones or something. Speaking of that, we had an air show here in Houston a couple weekends ago. And one of the neat things was they had a Spitfire and a Hurricane there, actual ones, and they flew. They weren't just ground queens. They were flying around. And I was stunned. I had never seen a Hurricane here in the States. I'd seen a Spitfire before, but I think only the two-seater, which is weird looking. And so I was just delighted they flew them. And it was interesting watching them take off because we always talk about how the Spitfire is the high performance one, but the Hurricane had a better takeoff angle. It was really wild to see as they took off. Maybe it's two different pilots. Maybe one's being more conservative, but that Hurricane could climb like a 45-degree angle. The Spitfire was much lower angle, although Spitfire is faster. So I'm wondering if the Hurricanes just have a lighter wing loading, and I know they have a thicker wing. And so maybe the pilot was kind of showing off the takeoff performance. But it was a real delight to see them flying around at the air show. It was a real treat. The air show here is always, every once in a while, something will show up that's just really cool that you don't expect. One year they had an actual zero, and I don't mean the T6 Texan dressed as a zero. This was an actual Mitsubishi A6M something or another zero. I don't think it had the Sakai engine. I think it had a Pratt & Whitney engine maybe, or something. Or maybe that, I don't know, actually. Could be talking out of my butt. But whatever it was also really neat to see, because you can tell that plane is very, very light. And the pilot flying it knew that, and knew what he was doing, and give a really nice show. It's one of those things that if you know what you're looking at, you realize, wow, that's just really amazing how it must have been to fly a zero compared to, say, a Corsair or a Hellcat. And which is understandable. I actually one time read the book of Designer of the Zero, and they had such limited choices of engine. It was an exercise is how do we get the most performance out of a wimpy engine? And so they said, well, let's just take all the weight out. Basically, they looked at every nut and bolt to see if it was really needed or if they can save weight on their plane. So that's why it had such great range. Let's see. Looked more like a bomber than a glider. Yeah, the AS1. Yeah, like I said, it was a very unusual looking glider. So they put some good design work. All right, so I think that's it for the ribs for on this wing. I think we've got. Let me stand back a little bit. As you can see, move the camera just slightly. So we've got all the ribs. We've got 2 front lower spars are in. The rear one, I'm going to have to cut. I'm probably going to have to, the bottom one is probably going to be easier if I do it last, because I'm going to have to take the wing off and then put it back on. It might be easier, I think it will, is to do the top first and then do the bottom angled one as the very last one I do, because by the time I get to it, everything else will be all framed and stiffened up. So yeah, and there's the one more thing. Glued tips to the plywood. So there's a plywood piece here that goes at the wingtip. Put it down, but I didn't quite put it on top of anything. There we go. So it goes here. I think it goes there. Well, that's interesting. It doesn't quite line up with the plans all that well. But that's okay. What is it hitting? Is it hitting something? Here we go. So we've got a plywood piece. It fits there. Does it fit here? No, it fits straight. Okay. Oh, that's what I'm doing. All right. So that fits there. That fits there. I'm guessing this is okay. All right. So it goes there. Plywood piece. Doesn't look like it fits. All right. So there's a plywood piece. I'm going to use some thick glue on that one. Wait for it to come out. Since it's the end tends to wick up the glue more than the surface. So I'm going to use some thick glue so it'll stay on there. And I'll slide up under here. All right. Some weight on it. Looks like it. I'll throw some medium on the corner. So there. Throw some kicker. And get some medium under here. Kicker. Just gonna hold that down. And I think is that it? Yeah, I think that's it. And I can take the razor saw here and trim it. Should be a little. There we go. What I'll probably have to do is trim it this way because the other ones have to come down. At least these are glued in, and I can slice it and sand it because it looks like that's in the other pictures here. Yeah. All right. So we have a wing. I made some good progress. I think I'm going to take a break here. Dinner time's coming up. But you saw me spread out the trailing edge, put the spars in, and with the ribs, get the ribs, everything else going. I went together pretty well. I think I think everything is looking pretty good. As far as alignments and whatnot. Thanks everybody who's stuck with me through this most exciting thing I've never done. Hopefully, guys, may have any questions, and if you want to post in the chat, I'll be happy to answer them in the next couple of minutes before I settle out for the night, or I'll probably actually come back later tonight and start working on it a little bit, maybe. Next thing I need to do is I need to put in the top spars here, and what I'll have to do is I'll have to splice together the spar. Spar. And the kit only comes from about here, and I got to splice in some more. So what I do is I do an angle cut on the thing. Somebody was asking about this in the video I did. I have a little, got this from a company called Harbor Freight here in the States. It's a little cutter thing, and this thing is awesome. It's got an adjustable angle, so I can do 45 degrees to 0 degrees and 5-degree increments. That's graduated. I mean, it's infinitely variable, but there's only 5 degrees on the thing, and so I can put a little piece of wood in here. Balsa wood is a little tiny little circular saw, and so I can put, say, at 0 degrees. Oops, there's a piece of wood there. Can you see that? Not good. You can see it. All right, so I can put it in there, and I can sort of look where it's going to cut, turn it on, and it makes a nice little cut on the piece of wood, which is really cool. Nice clean cut, because I do have a meter box that I can use. So this is a little meter box. I can stick the wood in here and do the same thing. But what's nice is since I was doing a splice, I can set this to 45 degrees and then splice it. In fact, I can do this one here. As a matter of fact, I might need it. And there I got a, whoops, I didn't stick it in far enough, but I got a nice angle that I spliced on it. And what I'll do is I'll splice it to another piece of wood to make it longer, You can't see it in the camera, but I actually did it here and here. Ideally, I need more 60 degrees. It would have been better or something, but I don't. It only goes to 45, so I just live with that. It's good enough for me, and it makes a nice splice. And this is cool. It wasn't expensive. Drill Master thing. It'll probably cut aluminum too, and the blades are replaceable. And it's a little cleaner cut than using the meter saw. It's got a little finer teeth. So I'll have to splice them together, and then the next step will be to put the two top hoods on, sand these down so they're a better fit to the other top one with the angle. Then I'll come back because I don't feel like taking this off the thing and then putting it back on to do everything else. So I'll do the bottom angled one last. It'll be on the bottom here. And that will be, and then the leading edge. It's right. I need to do the leading edge. I don't think the manual didn't do a good job of saying, hey, leading edge. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so the next one is, they are, according to this, the leading edge is next. And then do the top ribs. Again, I'm going to have to splice the leading edge. It's just a balsa that's curved around, so I'll need to splice that together. So, in fact, maybe I can show you that real quick before I go off. So, I'm going to cut this one again because I messed it up. I wasn't looking. Somebody just said I can double cut the two pieces together. That's a fantastic idea. Yes, you can. Why didn't I think of that? So I've got a regular long piece here, and that's going to be the leading edge, if I remember correctly. I think it says on the plans 6x6. So no, actually, no, that's a different piece. So it's actually not that. It's actually going to be, oh man, 6x6. I'll have to find a 6x6. I don't know where that is. Is this it? My calipers have walked away on me. This says metric. Yeah, this is it. Yeah, this is it. So I need to use some 6x6 balsa. Yeah, which is nicely tied. So it's always good to check the plans because instructions didn't say, oh yeah, it does. Leading edge 6x6 balsa strips. Okay, so they do. I won't knock them on that. Get out of there. Ugh. So this will be the leading edge. But again, oh, this also got split. So again, this is the leading edge balsa, and it is too short. Starting there, it's about that much too short. So, well, that's interesting. So I'm going to try, somebody said use two at the same time. So I'm going to adjust this out like this, just for giggles. Can you see that? You can't see that, sorry. There we go. All right. Do eyeball check there real quick. So there's two pieces of wood in there. Ah, look at that. 2 at the same time. Ah. So all I need to do is oops. And then what I'll do is, I don't know if you can see that. Basically, I'll just splice them together like that. So I'll grab some medium CA, put a big glob of it on there. I know it's going to get kind of wicked in. Sort of just slice it together there. Sometimes I'll double check that it's lined. Doesn't have to be super perfect. Ah, there we go. There we go. Now we got a nice, see, it's already cured. So now we got a nice super long piece that'll fit. And I'll just trim it down and apply it to the front. Nothing special, basically the same thing you saw earlier. I'll just attach it. What I'll do is I'll stick it in there. Maybe I'll just do this real quick. I'm already here, might as well. All right, so we'll stick that. Probably, in fact, what I'll likely do is actually use a little meter saw. In this case, the handsaw comes in handy. Just do a nice, take my time cutting it so I don't, sometimes there we go. There we go. And we've got another neat little tool thing that's kind of cool. I picked this up at a swap meet. And it's it's called a meter sander. This is really cool. It's got a adjustable lever, if you can see that. And so I can adjust the angle on it. And so when I did a kind of a rough cut like that, I can make the angle about there and just move this sanding block. It's on a little track back and forth a few times. And what it does is it makes the angle, and get in there, just push against it. So it's a kind of a fine piece of sandpaper, and it makes a nice fine end to it. So I can stick that. Oops, turn around. So I can stick that in there. And glue that in there. Sort of eyeballing it right now, taking a look. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue the end first. Get that in there. It's a medium. Here's the kicker. Here's the kicker. Pretty cool toy. Yeah. Oh, wait, good point. Yes, everybody, please hit the like button, give a thumbs up for the stream if you don't mind. Please, please, please. Every time you give a thumbs up, an angel gets its wings or something. Okay, so I did this one first because it's got a curve, and this is the biggest curve. Oops. I just hit it. The biggest curve is here, so I did this end first, and I just knocked this loose a little bit. Yeah, I'm gonna have to come back and double check some of these glue joints. I only did on one side. I really need to come back and do it on both sides. And I just, my knuckles just nicked this one. So that way I can work myself around. So I do this one and I can come around. Let's, I want to put some weights down here so the ribs stay down. Don't need a trailing edge one anymore. There we go. So I can come around and I can do this one. Just going to make sure it's lined up. Add some glue. Let's give it a quick kick. Do the next one. Click. Do the next one. If you can see that, sorry if you can't. Let me hold the camera up a little bit. All right, note to self, I need a better camera setup. So I'm just going to work my way over each of the glue joints. And just got a couple more to go. Glue was already in my hand. I'm a little surprised how fast this medium cures. You would think a medium would take a little longer. Half the time I don't even need to use the kicker. And this last one, right. All right. And so we've got a leading edge. Look at that. That was quick. I'll move the camera there. Maybe you can see it a little better. There we go. So now we have the leading edge, which also will be sanded on the ribs and stuff. We got, excuse the random bits and pieces of stuff. The structure's looking really nice. A couple of top ribs, and it'll be done for the most part, other than the sanding and stuff. And well, I got the sheeting too. I got to do the sheeting, and that ain't happening tonight. But there you go. I thank everybody for sticking with me and joining in on this little live stream. Yeah, I think I need an overhead camera and maybe like a switch, KVM switch or something that can switch between cameras. But that's getting really fancy. So let me quick run through the chat, see if I missed anybody. Andy, got a gadget, yeah. You've been thumbed. Almost look like a Spitfire wing. Yep, very much like a Spitfire wing. The elliptical wing. It's supposed to be very good aerodynamically. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks, guys. I think I'm going to stop for now. I think I made some good progress on the wing. And I really thank everybody for joining me tonight on this impromptu live stream. Doug was asking, it's early in the live stream. I talked about it. It's called the Leprechaun from Value of Planes. Leprechaun. The manual. Hope this is not backwards. It's looking backwards on my screen. I hope that's not right. No, it's not on the camera. I don't know why it's on a monitor that way. Go to Hobby Club. I want to add their name. I believe it's hobbyclub.com. In fact, let me see if I can find a link. Leprechaun. I'm doing a quick search here. There we go. Give me 1 second. I'll copy paste it into the link. There you go. All right. Wow, I've been doing this for 2 hours. All right. Well, on that note, check the link in the link. And thanks everybody for joining me tonight. The wife just walked in and she's asking me about something or another. So gonna have to cut it short. And thank you for watching. See you later. See you next video.